Well, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's been a while since I made a video, and there's been various reasons on why I haven't. But I made this one especially for those people who are pressed for time. And before you can do anything, you have to learn how to manage your time. Before you can study, before you can read the Quran, before you can read anything at all, you have to be able to learn how to manage your time. You ever been asked, could you do this or could you do that? And you say, well, geez, I'd like to, but I just don't have the time. Well, it's probably because you're not managing your time right, or you're misprioritizing your time. And we're going to talk about all those things today, and probably give you some ideas on what we can do, exactly how you can budget your time so you can be more productive. Well, let's get started. There's a real importance of time. I want to give you that first, because there's anything in life that you're going to hold on to that's much more important than time. Time is something that is not renewable. Once it passes, it's gone. You can't get more time. You can get more money. You can get a different job. You can get all these other things, but you can't get more time. Time is something that once it's spent, it's not available again. So you keep that in mind, how important time really is. You can't create it. Time is not created. Time is given to you, and you budget it, you use it, and you try to get the most out of it, or you blow it and you waste it. Now, the irony of this video is the last time I made this video and I talked about wasted time, I did a 28 or 29 minute previous video of this and forgot to turn the microphone on. So I wasted 28 or 29 minutes. That'll show you that the importance of time. Okay. By this video, you should understand how to use your time just a little better. One of the things that I say is necessary is to create a time log. Now, what do I mean by a time log? I mean take the 24-hour day and divide it up and write down what you do in those 24 hours. Now, you're going to see where you sleep, you're going to see how much time you're spending eating, cooking, preparing food, how much time you're spending around the house, how much time you spend with your family, how much time you spend in study or recreation or whatever you're doing. You're going to see in them 24 hours. And do this for about 5 days. I say 5 days. You know, you could go 7. You'll get a good idea of what's going on in your life if you do that. And then go back and look, and then review it. How am I spending my time? Am I productive when I spend my time? Am I wasting time, as so many people do? And you know, you're going to find out all those things by creating that log. You're going to find out what's necessary in your life. You know, sleep, time spent eating, time spent at work. These things are necessary in your life. Time spent reading the Quran, or if you're a Christian, reading your Bible. You're going to need to, or if you're a student in college even, I don't see how you're going to get out of college without budgeting your time. Because you're just going to go around and around a circle. I got no time, and I don't have any time to study this or that. So these are some of the things that you ought to take note of. What's necessary, you know? Where can't I not cut from this time budget? Okay. And what's available, what I can cut, maybe some recreation, or maybe some other things can be cut out of that budget, or some time that you're spent wasting. You can cut those things out. So plan. That's the number one thing. You should get yourself a plan. You should get yourself a immediate plan, what you're going to do right now. You should get one, what you're going to accomplish in a couple of weeks and what you're going to accomplish in, I'll go as far as to say 5 years, a 5-year plan. And write down those goals and just how you're going to achieve those goals. You're going to have to write down, I'm going to do this, this, and this to get this time to achieve this goal. I'm going to do that and that in 5 years. I'm going to have this done and that done and this done. Okay, so you got to have these things incorporated into that plan. So once you get all that done, then you can, what I say, you know, so many people, they start the new year and they say, well, I'm going to do this. I'm going to eat less. I'm going to go on a diet. I'm going to exercise more. I'm going to eat better food, or I'm going to take vitamins, or I'm going to go to the gym, or I'm going to do all these things. And what happens is after a few weeks that they wind up dropping out of most of these things, 90% of them. And they're right back to where they were spending the entire next year. They had good intentions, but they just were unable to get things done the way they wanted to. So you got to have a plan. You got to work that plan, okay? Now I say start slow. Don't try to accomplish everything all at once. It's not going to work good. You got to get into the swing of it, I say. You got to continue, and you got to be steadfast, and you got to get things done, little things done, and write these things down. As you accomplish things, write them down. Then you'll know what needs to be done. It's like a laundry list, or that you bring to the grocers. You check things off that list, and all of a sudden you see, well, hey, I got my whole list filled and it's time to go home now. Okay, you got to do the same thing with your time. Now, I remember this story, I think my grandmother was telling it. I think that's where I picked it up from, and it was about what the Indians believed about time, and she said that they believed that time was like a wheel or like a river. Now, if it was like a wheel, when the wheel would go around and around like this, time would come, that opportunity would come back around again on that wheel, say. But if it was like a river, once that opportunity was here, it would just flow away with the current. So they believe that time operated in the same manner, It was either like a wheel or like a river. Now, I don't know which one. I think somewhere in between the two is where we live. But, it's always good to listen to your elders, and I did a lot. My grandmother had a lot of stories, and I learned so much about the past from those stories. You can learn a lot of things from older people if you'll just stop and listen. And everybody has some sort of wisdom to impart to you. But the real problem is the way we spend our time. And we seem to get things done that we want to get things done. And we seem to put other things off with the excuse, I got no time. Well, if you got no time, you probably haven't been planning correctly. I remember my my education for my Bachelor of Science was in education in church ministries. And that degree encompassed a lot about time management. It encompassed a lot about management in general, because it was preparing you to be an educational minister in the church. And this is the guy that sets the programs. This is the guy that works with the educational department on curriculum. This is the guy that watches the flock of God, the people that come to church, and helps them out, sets up the budget on their tithing, You tell me how much you make, I tell you how much you should be tithing. That's the way it used to work. You tithe your 10% off the top, not after taxes. And, it was just a frustrating type a study because, I would look at my church that I was going to at that time, and I would say, and later on, the church that I pastored, and I would ask people, can you do this? Can you teach Sunday school? Or can you be here for this program, this singing program, the choir would meet or whatever. And they'd say, geez, I'd like to, Pastor, but I got this one job and it's really not enough money and I got to get another job. So I'm working 2 jobs and I just can't make it. And I think certain things were amiss there. Number one, if you're that pressed that you got to work 2 jobs, you got something really wrong in your finances. You need to take and go over your budget and find out what you can cut and find out where you can get rid of some of these things so you can work less, because that should be the goal, to work less and spend more time serving God and serving others. So I didn't want to hear that, but I heard it so many times over and over and over. And you kind of want to grab these people and say, well, look, if you didn't buy that 4-wheel drive pickup for $40,000, you wouldn't have to work 2 jobs. Think about it. Okay, if you'd live more frugally, you wouldn't have to worry about it. All right, if you'd live more minimal instead of a 3-car garage and a 5-bedroom brick house that you bought, you could afford to spend more time. But this thought never crossed their mind. It was, I think the attitude was to get all you can get in the can, what you get, and sit on top of the cans. And that was the real Baptist mentality and attitude. We got one of the young guys by here in the neighborhood, and he's got one of them big basses in his car, and it just rattles everything. I don't know if you can hear it or not, but they think they're really cool with that. But anyway, I'm hoping that you're going to take and try to review the things in your life that are causing you, and I call them, they're like little Draculas that suck your time, little time suckers, and that's what it is. You don't have time? Figure out the reasons why you don't have time, and the way you're going to do that is to spend a little time, write down on how you spend that time, because that's what's important. How are you spending that time? There's no way in the world I could have got through 7 years of college without being able to budget my time, because there was just too much to study. And when you go full-time and you got a full-time job and you also got a family, at least a wife, and you got to spend some time, you got to figure out how you're going to best plan your day. So I can't stress that enough. Write down the way you spend your time, plan your day, get some goals together, things that you want to accomplish, and you won't be able to say in the future, hey, I don't have any time. That's not going to hold water. On Judgment Day, when you're asked on various things that how you spent your time, you can't say, hey, I had a car bill or a payment, or I needed the money and I had to do this and that. That's not going to work. I got an idea. So you think about that. Don't think about the now. Think about the future, what you're going to stand and be held accountable for. That's what's going to really matter. This life doesn't matter. Everyone worries about, their doctors and their medicine and their diseases and, their diet and everything else. And that's good to kind of think about and to follow a certain regimen. But it's not worth worrying about, because your life is only transitional. You're just going to be here such a short time. Such a short time. Before you know it, you're going to have this gray beard, and you're going to be doing your own videos And you're going to be telling people on how you basically spend your time. Okay? So understand, time is something you can't get more of. It's not like money. You can't mine it. You can't get more time. You can get more money. You can get more gold if you're a gold miner, silver, whatever it is, but you can't get more time. You have a certain number of days. Your days are numbered. And as you get older, you realize just exactly what that means. Your days are numbered. Be careful. Really, really careful how you spend them. Make sure that they're productive. Make sure you spend them in the right ways, okay? Because you only have this once, and you're being watched and tested, and to see what you're going to be doing with it. So, Assalamu alaikum, brothers. I hope everything is fine in your life. I hope Allah blesses you, leads you, guides you. I hope that you have health, and I hope that you have wealth as well. Till we meet again, Assalamu alaikum.